Town of Prescott Valley regular town council meeting, November 12th, 2020, call to order. Welcome, everyone. At this time, I'd like to welcome Tony De La Riva down for our invocation. Sir, welcome.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah, let's pray. Lord, I thank you for this great country that we live in and the freedom that we have, and the peace and the material blessing that you have so graciously given to us. And I thank you for our city government here, and each one of these servants who give themselves for the maintenance and the security of justice here in our area. I pray that you would bless each one of them in their work tonight and in their minds and conversation. And I pray that everything that happens here would just continue to further our peace, and that it would protect, again, the freedoms that we have in the United States. And I thank you so much for this, and we ask your hand on this meeting tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Sir, will you please start us off in the pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hunt.
Present.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Present.
Councilmember Packard.
Present.
Councilmember Grossman.
Here for now.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Nye.
Glad to be here.
Mayor Polgona.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Hey, folks, we are blessed today to have a dignitary from our local neighboring city, Mayor Greg Mangarelli, who is going to be joining us this afternoon, and he has a few words to discuss why I'm wearing a jersey, why he's wearing a jersey. So, sir, the floor is yours for now.
Thank you,
Clerk,
Mayor.
can you please put the timer up?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I would have done the same thing if you were in our chambers. He's being all nice, blessed, dignitary. I like that. It was good. Everyone is, looking at me like, what did you do? And I'm like, look, he's the one that made this wager about 10 days ago. I'm just following through. I just want to congratulate both teams. I'm so glad that we have something else to focus on, and this is what Mayor Palguda said to me after the Bears loss last Friday night, is that, at least we have something else we can focus on other than a lot of this other noise going on around our country right now. And I'm here to thank him for placing this wager. It feels very good to be in your chambers tonight wearing a Badgers jersey. He's already talking about what might happen. That's good. I'm just going to keep talking right through it. That's what people normally do in my chambers. So he's already making plans for next year. So we'll see marching band in Prescott Council chambers. That'd be great. But congratulations to both teams, and look forward to a mostly friendly rival next year. And I'm sure we'll have the same wager. And I think we should get a little picture to make sure we can document this special occasion. Oh, we can't have a wager. He called it a wager.
Oh, so you should just shift it over on us.
Okay.
Round of applause for the mayor. Vice Mayor.
I want to be clear before Craig leaves the building. Do you have to wear that for the entire council meeting?
I apologize to everyone in advance. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Mayor, you can go now. All right, folks. I apologize for this being on the day that we have Student of the Month, but we're up. 5A, Student of the Month, Shannon Moore and Blake Hunenmeyer. Come on down, Councilman.
Mr. Mayor, Council, staff, and guests in the audience. Once again, it's time for our Student of the Month. And it's always a pleasure to do this. Just so you know, the Student of the Month is a collaboration between the Optimist Club of Yavapai County and Bradshaw Mountain High School and the town of Prescott Valley. We usually, in the past, we've honored a single student, but this year we were asked by the principal, Brett Dahl, if we could honor 2 students per month. And so we've implemented that program. Students like Shannon and Blake always exemplify the values of optimism, while the town of Prescott Valley is honored to recognize youth like Shannon and Blake and that engage in school and community involvement. The students are selected by the staff of Bradshaw Mountain High School. It's not a popularity contest. These students have earned this designation because of what they've accomplished, and it's not always academic accomplishments, it's what they're able to do within the community. And when you hear them give their little bios, you will understand why they were selected. Every student we've had up here for the last few years has always been just absolutely remarkable in what they're able to do, and you look at how much they were able to accomplish and still keep a high grade most of the time. So without further ado, I'd like to first introduce Shannon Moore, and then we will have Blake Hunenmeyer. Is that how you say it? Hunenmeyer, okay. So Shannon will go first and read her bio, and we'll bring Blake up. And after that, we will bring up the president of the Optimist Club to give them their award from the Optimist Club. And we will also, before that, bring up the principal. Here's Shannon.
So I'm just going to start from the beginning because I wrote this a little while ago, but my name is Shannon Moore, and I have been enrolled in the Humboldt Unified School District since kindergarten. Early on, I participated in basketball and science Olympiad teams in middle school. Then, as I went into high school, I became more engaged in a variety of clubs and sports. Some of these include swim, basketball, tennis, Mu Alpha Theta, the Student Athlete Leadership Team, and the International Thespian Society. Within these clubs, I have participated at a varsity level in both swim and tennis since my freshman year. Additionally, I was given other opportunities at Bradshaw, including the chance to represent the school at Girls State. More recently, I was awarded the title of National College Match Finalist. This would give me the opportunity to get a full-ride scholarship to Equestridge Partner College. My personal choice became Caltech. I hope to study astrophysics and planetary science, then become a researcher in those fields.
And now here's Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake Hunenmeyer. Throughout my time at Bradshaw, I've dedicated myself to a variety of goals and activities. Some of these goals that I've accomplished are maintaining an unweighted GPA of 4.0 throughout my years in high school and being elected student body treasurer. I have participated in several sports and clubs that are available at Bradshaw, including football, wrestling, tennis, student council, DECA, Mu Alpha Theta, and more. My plans are to attend a university and major in engineering.
like I said, they all have amazing accomplishments. At this point, I'd like to introduce Brett Dahl, the principal of Bradshaw Mountain High School.
Thank you, Council, for having us again, and thank you, Mayor. It's hard to look at you right now, but I second exactly what you said. It's nice to have something for our kids to focus on, for our community to focus on, and so I appreciate the spirit of that, no doubt about it. In reference to that game, I wish our communities could have been there to see. We can learn so much from our kids these days, and I was so proud. Certainly, we left some things on the field that maybe we could do better, and we all know that. However, the way our kids on both sides treated one another was absolutely impressive. I wish both of our communities could have been there to see it. It was amazing. I'm going to read you their nominations really fast, and then just a couple of words about both these kiddos. Blake was nominated by a teacher who said, "I'd like to nominate Blake Hunemeyer for Student of the Month. Blake is an outstanding young man. He is involved in 3 sports at Bradshaw, as well as being the student body treasurer and student council, and he is in DECA. He is also in 5 AP classes while maintaining a 4.0. Outside of his accomplishments as a student, Blake is an amazing young man. He has the best smile and is always friendly and kind to those around him. He loves to make people laugh and is willing to help when needed. He's an all-around perfect representation of a Bradshaw Mountain student." I think that's well said about Blake. Shannon knows how to get the job done and is a fantastic leader. 4.0 or above in weighted GPA and plays a sport every season: swim, basketball, and tennis. She has a great positive attitude and won't let setbacks stop her from moving forward with determination. Here's what I can tell you about both these kiddos. I met Shannon because my son swims and he's new to the area. What a leader, right? She not only leads by example, but she leads through a kind spirit. She leads through modeling appropriate behaviors, whether on and off, in and out of the pool, I guess, in that sense. She's fantastic on our campus. She's welcoming. She really is a model student. When I met Blake, it was on a screen, and I was challenging our student council that we can't settle for, we can't do these things. We can't have homecoming. We can't have these things. What we need to do is think about what we can do and how we can do things different. And Blake immediately piped up and said, "Mr. Dahl, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this." And I was like, wow, okay. And that's what the blessings that we can take through some of these experiences that we have. These two are amazing. They're a great representation of what happens right here in our community with our youth, and we appreciate the opportunity to celebrate them. So Council and Mayor, thank you again. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Principal Dahl. At this time, I'd like to bring up Butch Miller, who's the president of the Optimist Club, and he will be he will be giving them their plaques and whatever else they have in store.
Good evening. I am currently the president of the Optimist Club and governor-elect for the Arizona District Optimist Club. It's an honor to stand here and listen to the bios of these two young people. Having been an educator for over 40 years, and most of that in international schools, I know what it takes for these young people to accomplish what they've accomplished. Normally, I have a little plaque that I give them, and in my rush to get out of the house this evening to get over here on time because I was running late, I forgot them, so I will get them to tomorrow or sometime next week, and you can get it to the kids. The plaque is actually the Optimist Creed, and it is something that I try to live by in my life ever since I got involved with optimism. And I really appreciate, because optimism, our focus is bringing out the best in kids. And this right here tonight is recognizing what we mean by the best in kids. And I'm sure there are many, many others that would deserve similar accolades as these two young people. But they are here tonight. They're representing their school. They are tremendous young people, and just listening to their bios tells me that they're going to go far. And so you're a wrestler, huh? Yeah. I coached it for about 20 some odd years. But I'm going to start by presenting their certificate for our October Student of the Month to Shannon Moore first. And to Blake Huenmeyer, his certificate. Thank you both. Thank you to the faculty and staff of Bradshaw Mountain High School. I was just by your school today and dropped off some information to you. We run a scholarship contest every year. Actually, this year we're doing 3 of them. An essay contest, an oratorical contest, and this year we're doing a contest for the communications contest for the deaf and hard of hearing. I dropped off all that information at the school so they can get it out to the kids, and hopefully we'll have some good participation. Actually, 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, the winner of the essay contest and oratorical contest actually won the district essay contest as well. And she didn't quite do it in the oratorical, but she was quite good. So got some great kids there, and looking forward to their essays this year. All right, thank you.
If we can just get maybe parents or other family members come up and take a picture, get a little better spot. We don't seem to have our photographer here tonight.
Yeah, go around front.
Go out front. Yeah. Come out front. Taking the picture.
We have someone. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Next up, Brady Cabral, Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, sir.
Hi there. So normally we do business introductions, and we had a business to introduce today, but due to some last-minute circumstances, we don't have that. So if you guys would allow, I would love to read off some of the holiday events we have coming up.
Go for it.
Let the community know about those. So on November 23rd, we have the Flying High Turkey Drive, which is a food fundraiser for the Yavapai Food Bank. We're really excited about that. We put my boss in the scoop ladder truck of a fire truck, and we send her as high in the sky as possible. I love that day. It's probably my favorite day of the year. We have the Valley of Lights opens Thanksgiving night. It's open from 6 until 9, Sunday through Thursday, and 6 until 10 every holiday, Friday, Saturday night, or holiday eve. We have our stroll through the Valley of Lights, which is your opportunity to walk through the Valley of Lights, like with family or friends, on December 1st. That will be from dusk, from sundown until 9 p.m. We're really excited about that event. It's always a lot of fun. And then finally, we have our Holiday Festival of Lights on December, I didn't get the date, on December 4th, I believe. December 4th, it'll be here at the Civic Center. It starts over at the Findlay Toyota Center. It comes down and around the Civic Center. There will be a little bit of a different event because we won't have some of the singing and gathering because we have to maintain guidelines, social distancing, yada, yada, but it'll still be a ton of fun. So we hope that all of Prescott Valley will come out and enjoy.
Great. I think Councilman Anderson has something for you.
Location for the first 2 events.
Oh, thank you. So the Flying High Turkey Drive is going to be happening at the Fry Shopping Center right there on Glassford. And the Valley of Lights is, the entrance is down by Fane Park off of 6th Street. For the stroll through the Valley of Lights, you would park at the corner of 6th Street and 2nd Street. We'll have a big parking lot with huge light plants. It'll be hard to miss. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir.
And for any information, you can visit pvchamber.org. Since we are either hosting or partnering on all of these events, we've got information on our website. So thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, item 6A It's welcome Francisco Miramontes down for his 5-year anniversary.
Francisco has been a welcome addition to our Public Works team, and it's hard to believe he's been with us for 5 years already. We in the office commonly refer to him as Franny. He's a San Francisco 49ers fan, and the name of his fantasy football team is San Franny, so the name has stuck with us. Francisco is a native Arizonan and is from Phoenix, where he currently lives with his wife, Carla, and 2 boys. His commitment to the town is clearly demonstrated each day by enduring the 1.5-hour drive each way in order to get to work. It also shows his commitment to family by remaining in Phoenix to be near parents and other family members. He's a graduate from ASU and has recently tested for his professional civil engineer's license. Franny has many duties as a civil engineer in Public Works. One of the most time-consuming is acting as the town's eyes and ears in the field on town roadway and drainage construction projects. He has general oversight on daily operations and inspection duties. His selfless commitment often requires late hours of working weekends. The Glassford Lone Look intersection project, Viewpoint and Spouse intersection project, Sunset Lane project, and most recently the Viewpoint Connector project are a few of his most proud accomplishments. His ability to handle challenges, establish great working relationships with coworkers, contractors, and other professionals, combined with his ability to establish great customer relations with the general public, are just a few of the skills and traits he brings to the table. He's a valued and respected part of the Prescott Valley team. We congratulate him and look forward to his continued success and many more years as part of our team.
I'll make this short. Anybody who really knows me knows that I don't really like the light on me. I just want to say thank you to first Norm and Ron. They, saw the potential and gave me the opportunity to be a part of this town, so I really appreciate that. A big thanks to the rest of town staff. It really is a great community here, and it's fun to come to work, even though I have to drive that hour and a half. I get that question a lot, and it doesn't bother me one bit. Lastly, I'll just say a quick thanks to my wife, my mom, my brothers, my family. Without their support, I wouldn't be able to make the trek and provide the work that I do for the town. So it's really a blessing to have that type of support. Love you.
What? So cute.
Hey, one more round of applause. All right, moving on, guys. Item 8, consent agenda, all matters listed under, item 7, council comments. Councilman, it's up to you. Vice Mayor?
I've got one, and I think it's very appropriate since we just honored Francisco. I just want to tell Public Works and all of you how much fun I had at the trunk and treat with the candy chutes that you built. They went above and beyond. And it was so interesting because the candy came down that chute so fast that the kids would move their little bags and baskets before it could even reach the bag. That's what a good job they did. And to me, it represented the spirit of the Public Works Department. And I didn't make any kind of a comment last week because it's a work study. But I didn't want them to go unheralded.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman?
Yeah, I will just say that Laura Lee had more fun with the shoot than the kids receiving it. I will guarantee you that. I was there, I saw it all, and she was having a lot more fun than the kids were.
Councilwoman?
So I want to give kudos to the PD again because they're getting $27,725 total in grants on the consent agenda, and it's for things like equipment and training for internet crimes against children, which is really important, and also for bulletproof vest purchases, which helps the officer defray some of the cost. And then also, Council's authorizing tonight John Munderloh to apply for $100,000 for the Upper Verde River Drought Contingency Plan. And I'm told that all the jurisdictions have the contingency plans, but this is going to be one more for the region. And I did get to tour the Big Chino land since the last meeting, and that was pretty awesome. Some takeaways were the pesky juniper trees that are like straws that suck water out of the ground. And then our efforts through the Upper Verde River Coalition to remove them and use them as mitigation to assist the AMA and also our aquifer. So that part was really interesting. And then just a reminder that November is Homeless Month, and we recently gave a proclamation to Agape House. And they told us at the time that there's 110 homeless students in our area, and it's really cold out right now. Agape is doing a poinsettia campaign the month of November, and during this month, those that partner with Agape House to provide funding for the next year will receive a poinsettia for their business or their home the first week of December. So to learn more about this, it's really an important project because it's their funding for 2021. Go to agapehouseprescott.org.
Did it, ma'am? Thank you. Moving on, item 8, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from consent agenda and will be considered separately for discussion and possible action. Council, we've all had a chance to review our packet. Is there any item we wish to remove? And then if not, I'll need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Have a second?
I'll make a second.
Clerk, call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 9A, clarifying the use of Mylar and paper for permanent plans and plots. Ordinance number 880. This will be the second reading. Clerk, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the Mayor and Common Council of the Town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, adopting by reference a document entitled Amendments to Chapter 7, Building, and 14 Subdivisions regarding use of durable paper for permanent plats and plans, declared by Resolution number 2161 to be a public record, which amends Section 7-01-040 definitions, 7-02-350J, Amendment of Appendix J, Grading of the Internal Building Code, 14-02-050, Final Plat Stage, and 14-02-060, Information required for final plat submittal, to allow permanent plats and plans to be submitted on durable paper that meets composition standards established by the Arizona State Library, Archives, and Public Records, providing that all other articles, sections, and subsections in chapters 7 and 14, not herein amended, shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provision shall not be affected but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall this ordinance pass?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 10A, appointment to the Library Board of Trustees. LaDawn Dalton, I believe Vice Mayor, this is yours.
Hello. One position in the Library Board of Trustees became open when Kathy Derry completed her most recent term ending June 30th, 2020. Ms. Derry was first appointed to the Library Board of Trustees on August 22nd, 2011 to fill an existing term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2014. She then served 3 consecutive terms, with the last term ending June 30th, 2020. The vacancy was advertised and 4 applications were received. Myself and council members Anderson and Grossman conducted the interviews, and we are now recommending an appointment of LaDawn Dalton for a term with renewal date of June 30th, 23. And LaDawn?
Come on down, ma'am.
Down! I should have asked you before I started reading all of that.
Welcome, ma'am.
Tell us at the microphone a little bit why you're willing to serve.
Well, I'm hoping it's calmer than the school board when I was on the school board. No. I just knew that we were going to be here for a few years, and I saw it in the paper, and I thought I'd like to take the opportunity. I do have some training and education in library science, so I wanted to join.
Awesome.
Well, we were excited you wanted to serve yet again, and we're just delighted. So now we need a motion and a second.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint LaDawn Dalton to the Library Board of Trustees for a term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2023 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, 10B, Municipal Property Corporation Board reappointment, Jim Cox.
Okay, I'm not sure. Jim, step right up. I'm going to get you up here before I go through all of that.
Welcome, sir.
Hi there.
Garth Jones.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry?
No?
Oh, you're Garth.
Yes.
Garth, we're looking for Jim.
Oh,
Yeah, and I didn't see Jim.
maybe I'm next.
Hang on, you're soon. Just hang tight. You can sit down, sir. We'll get to you in a moment. You're next.
You are next.
You're on deck.
You are
Get warmed
next.
up.
Go ahead and sit down. We'll go through this, even though Jim doesn't seem to be here. On November 8th, 2020, Jim Cox's term on the Municipal Property Corporation Board will come due. He has submitted a renewal application letter asking to be reappointed. Jim was first appointed to a partial term on July 9th, 2015, and this appointment will be his 3rd consecutive term. Myself, council members Anderson, Grossman, are recommending reappointment of Jim Cox for a term with the renewal date of November 18, 2023. And since he's not here, we need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Jim Cox to the Municipal Corporation Board.
Second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 10C, Municipal Property Corporation Board reappointment, Garth Jones.
Yeah, Garth Jones.
We know.
Okay, well, let me do my thing, Garth.
My hearing aid got smashed over the weekend, so I'm struggling a little bit on the hearing.
All right.
Listen, we're just delighted you're here.
Thank you.
All right, I have to read this.
Yes.
On November 18th, 2020, Garth Brooks' term on the Municipal Property Corporation Board will come due. He submitted a renewal application letter asking to be reappointed. Garth was first appointed to a partial term on April 11, 2017, and this appointment will be his third consecutive term. Myself, Council Members Anderson and Marty Grossman are recommending the reappointment of Garth Jones for a term with a renewal date of November 18th, 2023. So quickly, tell us why you're going to go around a third time.
Well, I think that over the years, part of the success I've had has to do with contributing to the community that you live in. My age is such that the physical stuff is kind of beyond me, but I think the knowledge I have would be useful on this particular committee.
Great. Glad to hear it, sir.
Well, thank you. We honor you, and now we'll call for a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Garth Jones to the Municipal Property Corporation Board with a renewal date of November 18th, 2023 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jones, thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Moving on, item 10D, professional service agreement, bronze sculpture, Southeast Corner Civic Center Complex. Isabel, is this yours? Welcome.
Hi. All right, so we have the contract that you all have been presented for the new sculpture, new bronze sculpture on the southeast corner of the Civic Center complex. So I guess I'd just like to know if council mayor has any questions or comments about the contract.
No, I mean, we discussed this pretty thoroughly last time you were here at work study. Is there anything else, council, we have for? No? Vice Mayor?
Let's, excuse me, Isabella. Let everybody know when we think it'll be installed.
It will definitely be installed November 2021. Yeah. So within the next year, we're going to have both bronze monuments on each corner of the Civic Center installed.
That's great.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Tom White of Tom White Studios, Inc. to design and build a bronze sculpture on the southeast corner of the Civic Center in the amount of $110,000 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, call the vote.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Isabella.
Oh, thank you.
Moving on, item 10E, proposed final development plan, FDP 20-007, Pronghorn Ranch Unit 1, Second Amendment. Mr. Parker, I believe you have the floor for the rest of the evening.
Oh, no.
Almost.
Yeah, we'd rely on Larry for IT help. That would be a day. Mayor, Council, you can. Good point. Yeah, you're considering a revised final development plan for Pronghorn Unit 1. Pronghorn Unit 1 was originally approved in 2002, which began the development of Pronghorn Ranch. This is an illustration of the original configuration of that approved final development plan. Something that was required of the developer was to provide larger lots to adjoin the, properties to the east, because you can see they're configured in larger lots. Started out in Coyote Springs as 36-acre parcels and have since been broken down to around 10 acres in size. That's county. The lots along this stretch were intended to be 35,000 square feet and larger in size. What transpired again then in 2017 through coordination with the Department of Water Resources, the developer was able to configure an additional 10% of lots within Pronghorn Ranch. Many of those occurred in Unit 1, and in 2017 this body approved the revised final development plan for that phase. The proposal now in front of you cleans up that submittal to include some drainage areas. I'll go back if need be, but from looking at the larger properties to the east, drainage now is contained on a county parcel that's been devoted purposely for that drainage to be able to accommodate the larger lots. There's also a modification to Tract H, which is a trail that goes from here all the way through Pronghorn Ranch. The majority of the modifications to this plat are technical in nature, and on the basis of review by our engineering department, we would recommend approval. I'd respond to any questions you have.
Council? You're basically just cleaning up what was already approved 3 years ago, correct, Mr. Parker?
That's a correct statement.
Thank you.
Motion?
If there's no other questions.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2166 approving FDP 20-007 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, call the vote.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 10F, final development plan for Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen at Crossroads.
We all know that every community the size of Prescott Valley needs every chicken joint that's been developed as a franchise. And this would be an example of yet another one that's proposing to come into town, Popeyes. I've never eaten at a Popeyes, but I hear from staff that I work with, it tells me it's fantastic. It's between the furniture store and other shops in the Crossroads. It is east of the Home Depot on an existing pad. That pad was created when it was originally platted through a final development plan. The proponents have submitted a site plan indicating the configuration of a standard Popeyes on this location, and has also submitted with it a site plan delineating the landscaping as it would occur on site. As the council is aware, we have specific standards in the town code regarding the makeup and the quantity of landscape improvements on commercial facilities. This meets or exceeds the town's requirements. The configuration of the drive-through and so forth are permitted within the use district, which is a C2 PAD. On that basis, we'd recommend approval.
Council.
I have a question, Richard. So, is that the trash enclosure right there in the front?
The trash enclosure looks like it's near the entrance to the facility, adjacent to the parking.
On the 69?
No, it's on the other side of the roadway. It's on the top left-hand corner.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Council, for Mr. Parker? Councilman Packard.
Yeah, Richard, I stopped at the subway stop up, which is right adjacent to that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Apparently, they didn't pay their rent because they closed it. Will that affect anything? Do you think that is going to affect what's going on? Because that place is closed now, the subway shop is.
Well, I submit to you this is a totally different buyer between a Subway sandwich and a...
Oh, yeah, I realize that.
We have certainly robust business across the street with Chick-fil-A. I come by there early in the morning, and it's already packed. We are also rumored that we're going to get another chicken franchise here soon, so we must be eating a lot of chicken.
Yeah. Well, my concern is if they can't pay that, who's the folks that rent that out? Apparently, they closed them down because they didn't pay their rent. Is that an issue that we should be worried about?
No, that would be an issue of private sector and rents between tenants and landlords. It has no regard to this application or any other application that comes before you.
Okay, thank you.
You know when they're going to break ground or expected?
We have plans in-house. We will be turning those around in less than 10 working days. They had groused about the fact that a site plan, Mayor, had been submitted in support of another user at this location many years ago before the recession, and they thought we were dragging things along. We received the submittal 15 days ago, and it's in front of you. So I think that they'll be breaking ground here shortly.
Great. There's nothing else for Mr. Parker on this topic. Can we get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. I love chicken. Motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2165, approving FDP 20-1013, and to sign any agreement under Proposition 207 by electronic vote.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Clerk, call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 10G, final development plan, FDP 20-015, Baja Professional Apartments. At this time, I'll be abstaining from any vote or conversation due to a professional relationship with the applicant. Vice Mayor will be taking over.
Any questions, comments?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm joined by Peter Bergois. He's a landscape architect here and planner and a variety of other hats that he wears periodically. He's been following me around for a couple of years. Through his advice and assistance, the applicants have proposed something that they're calling professional apartments for this site. You may recall that several months ago, a zoning map change came before you that was approved to an RS use district. The RS use district permits apartment dwellings as a matter of right. The town's general plan in review sees this site as appropriately developed with apartments as well as commercial uses. So at that time you were told that the use of this area for future apartment dwellings was congruent to the recommendations of the town's general plan. The applicant, as part of that zoning map change application, brought forward a preliminary development plan, which is a requirement for the use district in which it resides in a PAD. That preliminary development plan defined a certain number of units to be able to develop a total of, I think it was 144 units on this 5.4 acres. Subsequent to that, they met with a lending institution. They'd like to seek HUD money for this project, and we're told that they needed to incorporate storage into the design features for this layout in order to be better positioned to receive HUD financing. So subsequent to that, they went back to the Planning and Zoning Commission and have brought forward a design concept to the Planning Commission as a preliminary development plan, and now in front of you is a final development plan which identifies a series of buildings to include 158 units, and you can see along the perimeter, and I'll show another slide which probably shows it better. This one better illustrates the relationship of the parking and then the buildings. It's not as cluttered as the other graphic, but you can see buildings along the perimeter that provide for a under story, which would be for garages, and the above story would be for lofts. Very similar to uses you see in downtown with the Homestead project around the perimeter, and likewise up at the Glassford Hill Terraces, they have the same configuration. This change was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission, they unanimously approved the preliminary development plan for this project. And now it's in front of you to consider the final development plan. Should the final development plan be approved, one thing that will come back to you is the proposed abandonment of portions of Baja Circle, which is a public right-of-way that goes through the middle of the development. That Baja Circle will be abandoned potentially to adjoining property owners through a sale process, but there will also be a minimum of a 20-foot easement for public ingress and egress to the other buildings to the south. That's something that the commission heard from the surrounding property owners that they were in full agreement with. With that, I've given you a general overview. The parking configuration, the landscape plan as it's defined meets standards that the town code defines for apartment uses. None of the apartment dwellings as they're illustrated and soon will be defined in specific building plans exceed any standard for the town. That is to say that they reside within no greater than 35 feet in height, and that's important given that the surrounding properties, many of which have developed with apartments, have the same performance standard. With that, in respond to any questions you have, I'd like to put Peter on the spot, as I always do, and I would respond to any questions you may have, Vice Mayor or Council, at your direction.
Right on up, Peter. We like putting you on the spot, too.
I'm used to it with Richard. Thank you, Vice Mayor, council members. Richard did, as usual, great job of covering everything. One couple of comments, and I'll entertain questions if you have them. We're shooting for workforce housing, and what that means is hitting a market or a price point that really meets the needs of first responders, nurses, teachers, policemen, firemen, those that are really the backbone of our community. We have made a couple changes from when you saw the plans in August, I believe it was, that respond to not only the lenders, I believe the lenders' comments, as Richard mentioned, but also to some of the comments we heard from council as well as others saying, well, how about some garages? How about a fitness center or something like that, recreation type activity that's important to a community like this? So I think we sharpened our pencils and kind of honing in on some of the important aspects. So with that, I'll shut up and let you guys ask some questions.
Yeah, I got a question. Thank you, Peter. It looks great.
Sure.
But okay, back in August, and you were, like you said at the beginning, the original intent was to have workforce housing at a certain price point. Okay, how many have you reduced because of the professional apartments? How many have changed in that number? How many did you propose in August, and what's the number now?
For the total number of
the workforce housing, the apartments, the ones that are supposed to be the reasonable price point.
Well, we're still trying to hit a workforce or hit a number that works for all workforce. So
all of them.
Yeah, we're still trying to hit a price point that's
all right
for all the apartments, and
okay.
I'll defer to Matt if I think we're there. So.
Yeah. Because I know when I hear professional apartments, that automatically in my head says,
it's fine. Well,
but
they're professionals.
You're going to keep the price point. Okay.
Yes, right.
That's all I need to hear.
Okay, sorry, roundabout answer.
I appreciate the way that you put the two-story buildings, the loft and the garages on the outside so that the density in the middle is stepped down on the property lines adjacent to others. So thank you for that. And thank you for including many of the things that I asked for when we last met. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I had a quick question. So these are going to be with garages and livable space above. Will they all still be 3 stories high? Was that the...
Will they all be, I'm
Were
sorry.
they 3 stories high to begin with? Weren't there 3 different levels to begin
Oh,
with?
oh, oh, correct. The center buildings that you see, here we go. Thank you, Richard.
Okay.
The buildings shown there at the bottom, lower left-hand corner, buildings 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 are actually 2-story buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just 2 levels, the garage and a living space above it. And then the others, interior buildings, are the 3-story buildings.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hipperly, I know you're not shy. Do you have any comments you'd like to make? All right, just didn't want to ignore you.
Yeah, yeah, put him on the spot, too.
I know, I just tried, and he didn't cooperate, Peter. If there's no further questions, I would ask for a
Thank you.
motion in a second.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor, or in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2164, approving FDP 20-015, and to sign any agreement under Proposition 207 by electronic vote.
And I'll make the second.
Are bringing the vote up. Thank you.
That passes unanimously, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. That's just, how do I want to phrase it? It's just not needed. It's well and good. Well done.
Moving on, item 10H, proposed street name change, resolution number 2162.
So I understand that you all want to change the name of Suns Way. What was it previously? Hockey, what was it? Sundog Way?
Sons, or Naz Way.
Something that may stick for a while. So with that in mind, I understand last week you talked about naming this Veterans Way. So the Community Development Department has prepared a resolution that enables you to make it so. I would respond to any questions you have.
Council, we have any questions for Mr. Parker? Pretty cut and dry. We saw an example last week at work study, I believe. Vice Mayor, you have something?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Motion to authorize the mayor, or in its absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2162, renaming Nav Sons Way to Veterans Way by electronic vote.
I'd like to second.
Clerk, call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 10I, Viewpoint Drive connector improvements, Manly to Roundup, CIP number S168.6:A. Welcome, sir.
Mayor, Council, good evening. This is just a brief recap on what was presented to you last week. Hold on a second here.
No, I'm seeing Richard, our IT guy, just left, so.
We still have Larry.
That was mean.
There you go.
All right, well, I'll just do it this way.
There you go, that's good.
So you can see the viewpoint corridor here, and over the last several years, there's been quite a bit of construction that's taken place. Right now, obviously, the viewpoint connector is under construction, and we are ahead of schedule. It should be finished here the end of this year, beginning of next. So this action is to utilize some funding that we received from the Yavapai County Flood Control District. We received $125,000 in funding to use for the viewpoint connector. And so this request is to use $44,000 of that money for some additional engineering services Essentially, we need to remodel the floodplain as you see it right there and show that it will now be contained in all of the channelization that we've done. Essentially from about 1,000 feet south of Spouse Drive up to the Agua Fria, you can see the triple barrel culvert there. There's also a 9-barrel there. So what we'll do is we'll remodel that floodplain to show that it's all contained within that channel. And we'll also remodel to show that the Agua Fria will be able to pass through those box culverts that have been put in place. We take all of that data, which is quite a bit of data. It's very technical. FEMA is very strict and picky on how they like to see the data presented. We present that to them, and then they will remodel, or they will look at the modeling and they will revise the floodplain to show that it's been changed in that portion of the floodplain map. And so with that, any questions?
Council? No questions for Mr. Pine, then look for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the town engineer agreement with Dave and Associates for FEMA floodplain map service related to Viewpoint Drive connector improvements in the amount of $44,110 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, call the vote.
That passes unanimously.
Thanks. Moving on, item 11, comments from the public. Consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes or less, 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. At the conclusion of the unscheduled comments, individual members of the council may respond to the item addressed at the discretion of the mayor, or they may ask the town manager to review the matter or ask that the matter be placed on a future agenda. Folks, at this time, it's your opportunity to come on down and say a few words if you'd like. Anyone else? Folks, I'd like to thank Superintendent of Humboldt Unified School District for being here. It's great. You've been here the last couple council meetings, and it really means a lot when you show an interest in the town as much as this council has an interest in the school. So, and I apologize, sir, for you having to wear a jersey earlier in the week as well. Yes. So next year. Don't worry, next year we got plans. All right, folks, have a great night. Good night.